Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, Scott Stratten on UnMarketing, Part 1.
The Big Success Show with George and Mary-Lynn.
Today we're absolutely thrilled to talk with Scott Stratten, president of UnMarketing.com. As a consultant, he helps companies engage with their customers. His viral videos have been seen over 60 million times, and he helped one client make $5 million in just 7 days.
And that's why we're hiring Scott. Scott is also a speaker and the author of a fantastic new book called UnMarketing. Stop marketing, start engaging. Welcome to the Big Success Show, Scott.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on and for that nice introduction.
Well, let's dive right in because this is a fantastic book, and your book opens with the story of a carpet cleaner in Vegas. Tell us that story.
It really was something that set the tone and kind of made a great anchor story for the book because it really defines what I'm trying to talk about. I'm a Vegas addict. I love going, and this is probably my 13th trip there in 5 years, and I walked into the Wynn through a side door for a meeting. It wasn't even the main big entrance, and there was a guy cleaning the carpet with a huge carpet cleaning machine off to the side. It wasn't even in my way. And as I walked in with a friend of mine, he turned off the carpet cleaning machine, turned around, made sure he had our full attention, and looked us in the eye and said, "Welcome to the Wynn. Whatever you're here for today, I hope it goes great, and I really, truly appreciate that you come today."
Wow.
And looked us right in the eye, nodded his head, and turned around and kept cleaning the floor.
Wow, that is amazing.
I think about all the places that I've gone into, and nobody seemed thrilled that I was visiting their place of business.
No, it's almost the point where people give you, they're grumpy that you're giving them money.
Right.
And I sat back after this happened, and I said to myself, when was the last time that happened in Vegas to me? And then I said, when was the last time that happened ever to me anywhere? And I found out it's his personality. His name's Wes, and I went back the next trip and found him and met him and wrote a blog post about him, met his boss, and they just announced he won Employee of the Year for last year, too.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And that's
He
what
should.
it takes, yeah. And it's just amazing, like you said, even to get someone to put down the phone or to, stop talking to their fellow employee or actually even just say hello or even thank you is just amazing these days.
The ability to acknowledge somebody's existence is a lost art form. And for me, this really defines my pivot point, which is marketing isn't a task, it isn't a department, and it isn't an action item. It's every single point of engagement you have with your marketplace. Mm-hmm. And he was a walking definition of how to do that properly.
I think a lot of people will put themselves in a role and say, oh, well, I'm not at the front desk. It's not my job to welcome people. And so, this guy is kind of an anomaly in the sense that obviously he's a leader.
And you know what? The amazing thing to me is the people who I walked past him, maybe 10 feet, and I ran into the official greeter of the hotel, and she kind of said, "Welcome to the Wynn." And I kept walking.
Isn't that
so?
something?
It tells me it really is. You are an ambassador. You are the brand. I don't want to hear about branding and who's responsible for it, who controls it. Everybody does. You're a walking logo and reputation manager for your company. I don't care what level you're on. If you're cleaning rooms in the Wynn and I walk by you and I look tired, and you just say, "Hey, have a great day," that changes the brand impression. And only if our frontline people and only if those people who don't feel appreciated knew how vital they were, it would change the way they looked at their job.
Absolutely. Now, Scott, another part of your book, you talk about when it comes to marketing, you say a lot of business owners kind of shoot for the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Could you explain that to us?
Well, there's a hierarchy of buying, and I did this about 6-7 years ago. I interviewed over 1,000 business owners and said, why do you choose a service provider for your business? And the top reason, obviously, was they're a current customer and they'd go back again. But the bottom was Yellow Pages or cold calling or even Google search. And you look at it, companies are trying to be better at being the bottom, the lowest level of trust, the lowest level of relationship, which also gives the highest price sensitivity and the highest competition. Don't try to be better. And get better at Google search, get better at your SEO is fine. But why are you trying to be the best at not being known? Because people only go and search for you if they don't have anybody else in mind. Why aren't you trying to be front of mind with people and be above your competition and build relationships in that community versus being the best cold caller, which is just pure evil, or being the best bottom level person?
In your hierarchy, you've got a pyramid in your book, and at the very top of it is, your customers. And there's something about, I guess, that hunting nature where we want to go out and get the new game, but we don't pay any attention to the meat that's in our freezer, I guess.
What we've already cooked?
Yeah.
But and how common is that? Just talk to anybody who's dealt with a phone company, how well they treat new people versus current customers. There's a commercial on TV right now, I think, for one of the banking or insurance companies where the new kid gets ice cream and the kid who has been with them for a week doesn't get anything because he's not new.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same thing for companies where some of your best people and your assets are your current customers. They're also the ones you can ask. People say, I don't know if my customers are happy with me. Well, why don't you ask them? Mm-hmm. Why don't you send them an email with a very basic stop, start, continue question? What can we stop doing as a company? What can we start doing? What would you like us to continue doing? Mm-hmm. So easy, yet rarely, if ever, done.
Are you getting feedback from your customers and employees? Are you listening and responding to your marketplace? We'll talk about that next time as we continue our conversation with Scott. And we thank you so much for listening to our unshow today.
yeah, that's it. And until next time, here's to your big success.
The Big Success Show at BIGG Success.com.